Hello everyone, Gaara here and welcome to the 10th episode of my Beat the Leather series. And as already mentioned in my previous episode where I featured Rhinolog, I'm going to feature Shaman in this episode because those are the two main decks that I used for climbing. And as you guys can see already, I wanted to show you two lists. They're very similar, just very few cards are different. Because a lot of people always ask, what can I replace this card with this card? So I'm just gonna show you my two favorite lists of Shaman, and I think Shaman is a very good class to use for climbing the ladder. And I'm gonna use it as well to get, actually I'm going for rank 1 legend, but yeah, we will see later how this is gonna go. And yeah, I wanna just go over these two lists. One list, which is the right one, I'm using mainly if I'm facing Rhino decks and control decks. Sometimes you have those waves where you face like a lot of Rhino mages, Rhino locks and stuff like that, and then like even druids, doesn't matter. And then I prefer the more greedy version, which is the right version. And if I face a lot of mirror decks and a lot of warriors, and then I use the left versions also for rogues. And pretty much this is all you face on that. It's either Rhino decks or you face Shaman, Warrior, Rogue. Occasionally you face Druid, and that's super awesome because all Shaman versions are good versus Druid. Same goes for Priest. If you face that, that's also very good. And yeah, so it's a pretty standard list. Let's go with the left one. Double bolt, patches, Finley. The reason why I play Finley, because I see a lot of people cutting Finley. I also cut Finley for a while, but the biggest reason to play Finley, especially in ladder, is it makes your Rhino matchups insanely, it increases the win rate against Rhino matchups by a lot. Just to get the life tap is insane. Like a Rhino mage, usually the way how a Rhino mage works or plays against, let's say, Face Warrior and Aggro Shaman is, they just remove the board and just outvalue them and play till they're out of resources. But in case the aggressive deck gets Finley and gets life tap, you cannot really play them out of resources, so it's very, very difficult to beat that. So that's like the number one reason to play Finley. Yes, it's kind of bad versus other aggro decks. As we all know, that's the main reason why people cut the card. It's so bad in the mirror, but it's too valuable against the counter aggro decks that you kind of have to include it, because you don't just face mirrors, and it's not just super awful in the mirror. It's like still a mini that you can buff with the Flame Tongue Totem, and it's just another 1-drop. It's an okay card, but the main reason for this card is really that you can just increase your win rate versus the control decks by so much. Actually I had one game where I played against Control Warrior and I beat him in fatigue with an aggressive Shaman because of the Jade mechanic, which is absolutely insane when you think about it. So yeah, Small Time Buccaneer, South Sea Deckhand, 2 South Sea Deckhands. I think that's like a little bit special because most people run 1 instead of a Zoo Drake, because you just wanna control the board as soon as possible. And South Sea Deckhand is really, really good with the Flame Tongue Totem and with the weapons. It's very good. It's actually on my tracker the card with the highest win rate in the deck, which is kind of surprising. It's marginally higher than Tunnel Truck or Buccaneer, but it's still a higher win rate. I really wonder why that is. Maybe it is because of the Flame Tongue synergy and because of the flexibility. You can take out the opponent's Small Time Buccaneer if you have a weapon, or you just go to the face, you have more damage. Maybe that's why. Small Time Buccaneer is obviously great, but most of the time it will just get dealt with by every opponent's deck on turn 2. But it's nonetheless like the best card you can have if you go first in your starting hand. Blood Mage Thanos, obviously pretty core with all the spells and with the Spirit Claws. Flame Tongue Totem and Jade Claws, also just insane cards. Flame Tongue Totem is one of the best cards Shaman has available. Just in the best case scenario, play Small Time Buccaneer on turn 1 against the slower deck, they have no answer. Then you follow up with Flametongue Totem. That's like 4 face damage guaranteed, and you leave behind a 0/3 that buffs your minions. This is absolutely insane. I think it's one of the strongest cards, aggressive cards in the game that you can play in an aggressive deck. Jade Claw's obviously an amazing card. It buffs your Buccaneer, it buffs your Tunnel Trog, it takes out opponent's small minions, and it leaves behind Jades, which you can later snowball with the Jade Lightning and the Aya. Just super absurd. Double Maelstrom, again a card a lot of people cut. The reason is just it's bad versus control decks or slower decks, but on ladder, since you face so many mirrors, I feel it's most of the time essential to run 2. Totem Golem, just also insane card on turn 2. Still, the thing is, Coin Totem Golem is so good when you have so many 1-drops, so you can really curve out and not lose too much, so you gain a lot through the 1 overload tempo. You get a lot of overload through tempo through the overload. There you go. Lava Burst, just a great finisher. Flame Wave Faceless, also insane tempo card. If you play it on curve, it's just most of the decks just can't deal with it. Especially now that BGH got nerfed, Executes are nerfed. There's very few cards that take this guy out on turn 4, and especially if you play it on curve, then the opponent will not have a board to trade into it. Just it works as a win condition. Jade Lightning, also an amazing card, and Aya is like one of those cards. This can be replaced by like a Doom Hammer. Aya is just very slow, obviously. It's like it's very good still, surprisingly, in the mirror, just because the opponent just cannot kill it. It just requires too many resources, and it's like one of those snowball high roll cards. Yeah, you don't want to draw her, but in some cases where you draw like the Jade Lightnings and the Jade Claws before her, she's actually very powerful. And most decks can just deal with your aggression, and then you kind of have to semi outvalue them. It's kind of weird, and in those cases, Aya is just a very, very important and also very strong card. And in the right version, it's almost the same. The difference is that we have the Fire God Destroyer, so an additional powerhouse on turn 4, and it fits also better in a curve with Fire God Destroyer plus Flame Reef Faceless, because you can play it on 4, you overload for 1, and then you play the Flame Reef Faceless on 5, which is amazing. And then if you high roll, you get a 7/6 instead of a 7/7, which is like equally as powerful. Most decks cannot deal with it. It's just an additional greedy card. You cut one Southsea Deckhand, you cut one Maelstrom, because those cards are the weakest against control decks or slower decks, and these are like the 2 versions I use the most. And yeah, I hope you guys like this, and see you guys in part 2, where I'm gonna show you some games on Legend. I keep the weapon, the Southsea, and the bolt because I'm on the coin, and it helps me. It's very flexible. All of these cards helps me take out his early minions. So here he could have a Jade Claw. This is why I'm coining out a weapon. This matchup is about face damage, but it is mostly about controlling the board. So now I'd prefer not to overload. The thing is, he overloaded, so he cannot play spirits. He only has 2 mana, so most likely he will just totem up next turn. And then to play the Feral Spirits this early in the game is really strong. Then I have the Lightning Bolt as a very flex removal, so I like this play here. Go for the Finlay. Get the best hero power. They're all pretty bad hero powers, so I guess I go for the shapeshift to make my weapon just a little bit more useful. Take the free phase damage like a champion and go for the phase. Another golem, it's pretty good for him. Now I could go double overload, but I don't like not being able to play my spirits. It's kinda tough. The bolt is just a very good remover. Hero power. I don't like trading my minion. I rather use my removal and hope to draw something. Maybe he doesn't have the spirits. Spirits would be not even that great for him. Yeah, but now right now I only have the hero power play. I really had 3 super bad hero powers. Oh, really strong turn. It's okay if he does this trade, because I have to use my weapon anyways now. I mean, what is he thinking? Taking out the totem golem? There's some merit to take out the totem golem, because I will do the value trade with Finley into his patches, and I will most likely use my weapon to take out his 3-2. But he would take more phase damage. Yeah, now this is pretty bad, because he didn't really utilize his minion well or his weapon at all. And I'm getting even more phase damage in. When it's irrelevant if he has like some big minions. That's good, because it's mana inefficient. And he takes more phase damage. I can take out this guy, but I think I go for the Thanos because I need draws. I could go for this trade, but I think phase damage is better. I get punished a little bit by Maelstrom, but not really. So he plays the slower version. Yeah, the slower version is worse in the mirror for sure. So what I can do here is just push damage. 5 plus 5, 10, 11 damage. It's probably still too early to push damage, so I don't need to cycle the Thanos just yet. But I get 2 damage in. Oh, I actually forgot to attack the Thanos. Lul! I mean, every damage matters. So this version plays only 1 Maelstrom portal, so it's much harder for him to come back on board. And he takes even more phase damage. Yeah, this is why we cannot just blindlessly push damage, because of situations like this. Let's see what we get. It's a good card. Can go for these 2, but I will probably go for the maximum charge. In case you play Overwatch. Definitely not trading, because we know he has only Maelstrom and his life is just shrinking. He needs a taunt totem. I mean, Feral Spirits are also pretty good. If he has the same play, Feral Spirits into a Flame Refaceless. Now I'm pushing damage because actually it's probably still better to go for the value here for the board. All my spells take him out. Yeah, I had lethal if I would have not missed the 1 damage from the Talonus, but it doesn't really matter. I don't really see myself losing this game in any scenario. The secret elemental destruction tag, even that goes for the Zubaro play. Yeah, this is what happens sometimes when you just talk too much, that you just miss damage like that. I go first, which is amazing. You always want to go first. Jade Claws is pretty good. Then you just try to find one card that costs 1 mana. In this case, it's the South Sea Deckhand. With the Flametongue Totems, you don't really, also with the Spirit Claws, you don't really want to play him on 1, because I have the charge and I have the synergy. But yeah, I only get punished by a Cold Maelstrom. I mean, that is, arguably a punish. Not really. So I go for the Flametongue Totem here, because if he takes it out, he takes 6 phase damage. Just better than the Jade Claws. Here I rolled the Zarstone for ya. What can you do? What can you do? It's Hearthstone for you. I still like the Flametongue Totem over the Jade Claws. Maybe the Jade Claws was better actually. The thing is, you have to kill this so I can see coin into Jade Lightning. Oh, Master of Evolution. And takes 3 damage. This is where we play the Feral Spirits. Overload for 2. Go down to 3. But it has to be done. Card I haven't seen in a long time. Pretty good for him, I would say. Guess we assume this one to be dead. This is Flametongue Totem, so just go for the Totem Golem. Interesting. Can't see it. See what we get. No Taunt Totem. Pretty sure I have to hit it. Ouch. He plays a slow deck, so he will not just kill me. And yeah, it has to be done again. I need, if I get the Spellpot Totem here, I win. No lucky. I mean, it would be kind of ridiculous to get it, but there was still always a chance to just high roll. Facing a rogue here. I don't like to keep the Finlay, but it can be okay. Like if I get Hunter Hero power, I don't think I can afford to not keep the one drop going first. This hand is really bad, but this is like the slower version I'm playing right now. These Hunter Hero powers are all super bad. I might go for the Dagger Mastery because it's damage. Yeah, I'd rather have totems than this one, but yeah, it is what it is. I have to go for the Totem Golem. It's a very strong board presence. Might even just go Dagger next turn, depending on what he does. Because I cannot overload, I need to not have him not have a zap for these guys. That's how I win. So this is like a very slow hand. I like using the first dagger hit. Right now my turns are flame refaceless into this, Oh, this is better. I think I keep the dagger charge. Even if I lose, worst case scenario I lose 1 damage. It's like whatever. I will most likely play this one next turn over this one. We'll see. I'm pushing damage in. It doesn't matter how you kill him. Like this way, I'm right now in this game I'm killing him for the Totem Golem and Finlay, so it's worth just protecting them and removing his board. Still get the patches. Guess I go for the flame refaces if it doesn't have an answer. The thing is he needs like prep zap to deal with it, to get like tempo. So it's okay I think in this spot. The only question is if I trade the patches or if I trade 4 life. Honestly, because my hand is only minions, I'd rather save the 4 life. One way for him to win is really to cheese out a win through Leroy plus stuff. Okay, here's the coin auctioneer into prep zap. That's absolutely insane. That's exactly what he needed. But also like the coin auctioneer and second prep. That's the nut draw. Fan, oh my god, it's the best draw possible. Into a second counterfeit coin, you gotta be kidding me. And my hand is only minions. The chances of me not having an answer for the auctioneer after this god hand is like close to 0%. And here's the conceal, are you kidding me? This is just so crazy. Yet the absolute god hand. No way, second zap. Okay, it's just GG. Can't beat that. It's so likely for him to have. And probably cold blood on this guy. Yeah. It's like it's literally the best sequence of cards he could have. And I draw all the minions. Facing them rogues, hackers. This combo is actually Kinda nice to take out some stuff. If he goes first, we expect him to have small time Buccaneer. This works. He kept 2 cards. You keep pillagers usually in Buccaneers, so we expect those 2 cards in his hand. Maybe a backstab. Search Burglar is also just like a 1-drop you keep. So the Maelstrom would have actually been kinda nice. Speaking of Maelstrom, it's actually as good as it gets, to be honest, for a Maelstrom totem. You can always high roll, so this could be a 2 health minion, 3 health minion. What definitely speaks for the Maelstrom play over the Spirit Claws is, yes, I don't use like 2 charges and take like an insane amount of phase damage from the 1-drops. I also develop a 1-drop. Oh, this is just super bad for me. I'm just gonna go for the weapon equip and then go for the charges next turn. It's like the South Sea deckhand is really good if you have a weapon. Thank God no 4-drop. But he has this one, so that's pretty bad still. So go for the flame. What I can do here is use my lightning bolt. Or use my pirates. I don't think I used the pirate because of another flame totem, so I used the bolt and my patches and go face. At this point I can also use my weapon charge. Might throw another weapon, just 1 charge. He used also flame totem. I mean, he also used a fan of knives that makes my pirates much better. So we might go for a big one cleave here. Looks like it. 6/6. Can't kill it. But I can high roll spell power once again. If I get spell power, I win. Because he's out of resources. Nope. Hopefully he has to trade and can't kill it. That's also a good draw for him. Quite sure where his hand is. So I have to do this, has to be done once again. Have to trade, he wins the race, very good roll. Yeah, I go face with the weapon and play the Jade Claws to buff this guy, get more board presence. If he trades, he has to take another 3 damage, it's kind of worth it. And I'm taking out this minion, no mind, so yeah, conceal. It's pretty much a dead card. Gonna go for the, oh again Taunt Totem. I really got lucky with the 3 Taunt Totems, that's so sick. Yeah, I played the Talons because I need to draw cards. I can get like Lava Burst and Jade Lightnings to kill him. Here's the conceal, let's see how many spells he has left. Maybe he has a prep. That's what no, second conceal. He has to take it out, he has no choice. He has to kill the minion, doesn't really have a choice either, again. 6, 8, 9 damage. Let's see what we get. In case he clears my entire board, I have always the high roll opportunity here. I don't think I can die here, but there's always like a way. Like if he goes for YOLO Leroy and then Cold Blood, it would be 18. Oh, he's going off even though he has like almost no cards. It's kind of good for him, I would say. I mean, he has also 9 mana, so that's huge. Gets another coin. And here I need to draw damage or I lose. This is why against Rogue as well, the more lower curve is better, because you don't expect your minions to stick around. If I draw a minion here, I can still lose this game. Not quite sure if this is a guaranteed lethal setup. Oh, there's no... Maybe he's gonna backstep. He doesn't have backstep anymore. I don't see why you wouldn't kill it. It just increases. I mean, he's dead to a spell power totem, right? So why would you not kill this? Also, taunt totem is good. It's pretty bad play actually to not kill this. Does he get punished? Yes, he gets punished. No clue what his thinking was to push 1 damage over killing this totem. It's a huge deal for me. This totem was there. And welcome back to part 3 of my video, and as always I'm gonna show you some of my recent stats. And first of all, I'm gonna go here over my recent stats of the current season. With Shaman, I want you guys to focus on Shaman because this is what I'm talking about in this video, and it is 67%. If you compare it to the other classes, it is by far the highest, and it is for the entire season, and the sample size is really good as well. It's almost 160 games, and in 160 games on 67% is really high, and this is pretty much your goal, I think, with any deck in any season. And I'm currently rank 160 legend here in Europe, and also around 180 legend on Asia, and from here on like I'm trying to push into to get rank 1 pretty much in both regions. And I'm gonna mainly play this Aggro Shaman, and let's go a little bit more in detail over the stats. I'm 11-2 versus Druid, and Druid is by far the best matchup. Any version of Druid, it doesn't really matter if it's Kun or Jade, but most of the time it will be Jade. I've faced very few Kun Druids recently, or just in the past month or so. Just in the beginning, when I think Dog, when he was streaming it, more people were playing Kun Druid, but right now there's like almost nobody. Mage is the worst matchup, and I'm currently still 67% versus Mage, so that's pretty good. I mean, on paper it is the worst matchup for me. As you can see, I'm performing better versus Mage than Rhinolock. It's just that obviously control decks are harder to play, and people have a lot of decisions, and to find a line to survive, people can misplay a lot. With Warlock, it's probably a bit easier to play, because if you have a Hellfire on 4, you will just do it, and you have a Reno, you tap, you just play. It's you have way more answers, and with a Mage you kind of have to like utilize your ping a lot and set up clears, and it might be harder. I think that the Mage overall must be a harder matchup because of the Ice Block Reno combo. That's very powerful, and the freeze effects. Rhinolock is very more vulnerable and dies most of the time at turn 5, turn 6 if he doesn't have the Reno. Mage can prevent that much easier because of the early game removal cards like Arcane Blast, Frostbolt and stuff. So I think it's harder, it's just that people play it worse. Priest is surprisingly one of the best matchups. I am 82% versus Priest, even though people in their minds think that Priest is favorite. I think this proves it right. I mean, the sample size is obviously not that high, it's 17 games versus Priest, but yeah, I'm winning most of them. That kind of shows something. Rogue, 67%. It's actually a worse matchup, just because Rogue has
way more ways to clear your board. They can go all in on a one cleave, for example, or on a questing, and you don't run hacks, so you can't remove it. But nonetheless, I'm like heavily favored in this matchup, and this is something you also face quite often. Reno mages, priests, rogues, and other shamans and warriors. But this is like the most important stat probably versus shamans, because I face this most of the time, and I'm 61% in the mirror, and this is like the key to having this high of a win rate. I'm favored in the mirror. Pretty drastically favored in the mirror. Like this should be around like 55% would already be very good in the mirror, but I'm 61 currently, 34 to 22. Maybe just because I always play like the best version of Shaman and people just play a slightly worse version, but yeah, this shows that I can't just be lucky because it's so many games. Yeah, I'm also playing it probably better than my opponent, so that's very nice. The Warlock is 4 to 4. Luckily, I think that's still a rather bad matchup, so this is why my win rate is so high, probably because I'm favored versus Reno Mage and I'm facing that way more often than Reno Lock. And Warriors, a lot of Warriors, and I'm definitely favored in that matchup as well. As you can see, I'm 65% versus that, and this is how we get to the 67%. And that's it from this video. And as always, if you enjoyed it, please give me a like, please subscribe, and also check out my other videos, maybe you like them as well. And yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and see you guys next time. Peace.